Hey everybody, how's it going? Icy Cat here, and today we have even more information that's been data mined for what the new operator's gadgets and weapons will be that's been taken from the technical test server build of the game. This gives us an early sneak peek at what we can expect for Season 2 when it comes out in May for the Hong Kong operators. So of course this figures. Yesterday I put out a video talking about some of the leaks that people had put together from data mining information from the technical test server build that revealed some insights into some things in the game. After spending a couple of hours putting the video together and then uploading it to YouTube, a few hours after that some more information came out. So today we're going to be covering that information. So yesterday I talked about how the Hong Kong Special Duties Unit operators were going to be called Caltrup and Dazzler, and we showed the evidence for that. Here's another look at that image now on the screen. You can see that when they data mined the files, they were able to find in here these references to these new character names. But later on, some people did some additional digging, and here's some other things that they found out. Here's a couple of entries that relate to Caltrup and Dazzler's abilities. So we have this blind spot Dazzler grenade. Now, yesterday when I was talking about what a Dazzler was, that's actually a non-lethal weapon attachment. It's meant to be like a strobing, like flashlight laser kind of a thing that you shine in someone's eyes and it disorients them. So a Dazzler is an actual weapon attachment. However, here we're seeing a reference to a Dazzler grenade. Now this is a little confusing. I'm not sure exactly what this would do, because you have to think about how would this be different than, say, a flash grenade. If this is some kind of a grenade that you toss in and it creates an effect of that distraction, that disorientation, or stunned, or, intense light or strobing, how is that necessarily going to be that much different than a flash grenade? Now, one thing could be if it landed on the ground and it continuously strobed for a period of, 5 seconds or 10 seconds or something like that, and it caused disorientation for a period of time while the grenade landed. Imagine if you were an attacker and you had a device like this and you tossed it into the objective. This could create some chaos in that room. Now, one would assume that the attacking team could also be disoriented by it similarly too, so we'd have to be careful with how that might be approached. We don't know the details on how this works. And if we look a little bit further down, we then also see Caltrup Mine. There's also an interesting line there that references Caltrup Mine deployed up cloaking. So what does this mean? Do we have something that's essentially like an echo drone where you toss it out, deploy it, and then it attaches to a surface and possibly closes itself to stay hidden? Now that could be really interesting if you think about it, because right now all of the Defender traps have a way to have them visually detected. But this would be the kind of gadget that somebody only like IQ could spot and know where it is. Maybe you could take it out on a lucky throw with Thatcher and it would be disabled if it happened to be caught in the area of effect, but it would be somewhat lucky. Having a trap that's cloaked would be a really interesting twist on things for defenders. Then there's also this really interesting reference, Caltrup Toxic Mine. Now what is that? So we've got maybe a cloaked mine and a toxic mine? Is this something perhaps like Capito, where you can choose which kind of bolt you're going to use with the crossbow? You can switch between a pair of smoke bolts or a pair of the incendiary bolts. Perhaps this operator has a choice between two different deployable gadgets as well. Maybe one functions almost like a hidden cap can trap where it detonates on explosion or something like that, and then the other one emits a cloud of poisonous smoke similar to Smoke's gas grenade. It says that both of these are mines, so they would be placeable devices rather than thrown devices. Now these aren't the only gadgets that are added to the game by the look of things. Looking a little bit further into the files, somebody discovered that there's also a new entry for gadgets, and here we have Cluster Mine and Concussion Mine. Now the other gadgets were lumped in with specific operator names, denoting that these were the specific operator abilities. These aren't grouped with anything like that. So does that mean that these are new entries? And we've seen that before. We've had impact grenades added to the game and claymores added to the game, so they have added new team gadgets into the mix. A cluster mine sounds explosive based, and the concussion mine sounds like it would be something that would stun you. Mines are always kind of a controversial addition to any kind of first-person shooter because they do somewhat lower the skill gap. Now instead of having to throw something in the right place at the right time, it becomes more of something that you set and forget, and you didn't even necessarily have to be paying attention to where it occurred. Now in some ways that's not very different from many of the operator abilities. They will deploy traps and they're kind of on the set and forget path too. But creating more of these things in the mix does, again, lower the skill gap just a little bit and create situations where players don't necessarily have to be aiming at their target to be able to take them out or distract them or stun them or know when to throw it or at the right spot to throw it. Likewise, the gadget can wind up becoming something of a waste because you may deploy it in an area where an enemy simply never comes through. However, this does definitely add some new tools into the bag for the operators, whether they're on the attacking or the defending side, and can create a variety of tactics. What do you guys think about that? The other information we were able to find out is regarding the new weapons that we'll be seeing coming up. So here we have an entry for AR Assault Rifle QBZ-95. Now, the QBZ-95 is a Chinese bullpup assault rifle. In some ways, it's shaped a little bit like the FAMAS F2, and it has that bullpup style magazine that comes out the back end of it there. By default, the QBZ-95 fires from a 30-round magazine, or it can have an optional drum magazine that it is sometimes outfitted with. Following up on that, we also have an entry for the SMG. This is the JS9 that we see entered in here. The JS9 is a suppressed submachine gun chambered in 9mm using the same bullpup style configuration as the other gun. Typically, it uses a double-column 30-round magazine. Now, as of yet, we haven't been able to figure out what the accompanying guns are. We haven't seen anything that's been data mined so far on the handguns or the shotgun that might be paired with this. No word on what the alternate primary might be for the attacking operator. These details may still be coming out soon. They just may not have come across these files yet. But this gives us some insight into the kind of weapons and equipment we might be seeing paired up with the Hong Kong SDU. This season does launch sometime next month, mid-May or so. And of course, if I find out any more information, I'll be sure to let you know that too. What do you think about some of these gadgets? Do they sound like they bring something new to the table? Let me know down in the comments below, or share with me over at IcyCat25 on either Facebook or Twitter. Also, if you haven't already, please consider liking and subscribing to stay up to date on the latest news and information for Rainbow Six. Thanks a lot for watching, everyone. We'll see you next time.